What's going on, Tamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast. I'm your boy, Varney, today in the studio with my boy, Dan. What's going on?
What's going on, Varney?
You know, we're living out here in this pre-Apocalymon,
and post?
pre and almost post-Apocalymon restriction meta. You know, I mean, you're playing the deck, or was playing the deck, so you were doing the milling. Meanwhile, I was trying to combat the Dark Master. No, what is he considered? He's not a Dark Master, but like combat the big bad himself.
I don't know what he technically is, but he's like, I guess the head of the Dark Masters ? I don't know how you want to call him.
I don't know exactly what he is. I guess his trait in the card game is, let's see, he's just an unidentified. So like,
yeah,
I don't know. He's the big bad. We'll just call him the big bad, or boss, the BDM, the boss Dark Master. You can rearrange those letters.
I'm trying to look them up to see what they say. They don't really say anything about, like, you know, Dark Masters personally. They just say like he evos from them basically, but like, yeah,
he just is a being a
Digimon who appeared when negative thoughts were drawn together by darkness. So little is known about Apocalymon that it may not even be a Digimon. Some claim it appeared to purge the chaos of cyberspace and reduce it back to nothing. Others claim its arrival was spoken of in ancient texts. So he's just like, I guess maybe you could call him like an anomaly. Like that's what he is. Like he wasn't supposed to exist, but he ended up existing.
Chaos.
You're right.
Apocalymon, the big bad Dark Master, the harbinger of chaos, the being that never should have been.
Right, exactly.
Now, but we got a lot to talk about today in regards to Apocalymon and the like. So, y'all know we talk about locals, but for some reason, the Ultimate Cup was on Sunday instead of Saturday this weekend. And I would like to say that's because there was a One Piece tournament on Saturday, but I don't think it was hosted by Top Cut.
But it wasn't the same tournament holder, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know why it was hosted on a Sunday. It's just so weird. We haven't had a Sunday Digimon tournament in, I want to say it's been over a year, because I can't recall the last time we've had a Sunday Digimon tournament. But the last Ultimate Cup, the previous one, was literally just yesterday, and Dan and I both participated in it. I'll start off. I went to war against the Apocalymon meta. I was originally going to pilot Anubismon, but Anubismon told me, in our conversations we had, when I went into the war room, me and Anubismon sat down and I was like, yo, Anubismon, how you feeling about this tournament this upcoming weekend, bro? And Anubismon was like, yo, listen, B, I don't think I can carry you. And I was like, what you mean? And he was like, I don't think I can do it, Chief. And I was like, I'm not following. So we played some matches. Let me tell you, I drew into this one hand. It felt like gnats all over again. And I said, I understand exactly what you mean. I'm not going through this shit with you again. I took that shit apart immediately. I de-sleeved the deck. I was like, you lived your time. We got 107 at Nats. That's fine. You can rest on your laurels. We got to 107 at Nats. Anubis Madi came apart. I said, all right, next one up, who we taking today? And Fenry said, I'm gonna step up to the plate. I got you, Chief. So me, AG, and Lugumon stepped up to the plate to try to combat the Apocalymon meta. Unfortunately, we didn't do that hot. We could have done well. Here's the issue. I was playing Mario Kart the night before and made some decisions that I shouldn't have made.
I was about to say, you're missing a whole important part, if I heard correctly.
I made some decisions I shouldn't have made, and I was not in the right state of mind to play in a tournament the next day. But we woke up and we did it anyways. And we clawed our way to a 3. Yes, but I set my alarms, and I don't know how I did it, but I set my alarms. No, I set them in the middle of the night. I don't know.
This man woke up in the middle of the night. It's like, let me do this.
I was like, what time? Fuck. I think this is the time. All right, we're going to wake up and we're going to get this done, bro. I woke up and I was like, I'm not about this, but we're going to get it done. So we went 3-3 and then we dropped because by the time that I lost my 3rd match, I was like, I could claw my way to top 128, but I probably could have not only
arguably
better,
top 64.
Maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe. I was like, not only am I not in the right state of mind to do this, I'm hungry. I'm exhausted. I have a headache. I don't want to do this. So we dropped. I played 2 Apocalymon. I played an Anubismon. I played a Gururu Star. I played a Numamon. And there was some 6th deck that I can't remember. So I won. I went 1-1 against Apocalymon. I lost to Numamon. Won against Gururu Star. And I lost to Anubismon. Anubismon was faster, and I also just couldn't see anything. But they were faster. And I'm specifically saying that just because, I acknowledge that, there was a comment that somebody said about, it's never that, you were outplayed or anything of that sort. It's always, the bricks, blah, blah, blah. No. I was able to play the game, and this is what I enjoyed the most. I was able to play the game almost the entire day, save for 1 or 2 games. I was able to play the game the entire day, and I could ask for nothing more. There's just, obviously, there were times that I needed to see some pieces when I needed to see them. I didn't see them. It is what it is, We call that bricks. But I was able to play the game. Unfortunately, against the Anubismon, they were just so fast. I had no time to not even, I didn't open rookie, or I didn't open something like a Halugar I needed to see. Boom, that's it. You're done. That's just how fast they are. So it makes sense why Anubismon was top of the meta in JP, especially over Fenrir, even though Fenrir's the OTK. Well, it is an OTK deck, but so is Anubismon because they're just that damn fast. Gururu Star, I think I 2-0'd him, but security was trash game 1. And then, or maybe it was 2-1. I can't remember, but I know I 2-0'd, or the 2 matches that I won, there was nothing in security. So I'll say that ADP was super clutch. Oh, now I remember. Now I know what the 6th deck I played against was. I don't know what the fuck I was playing against, but I saw, he said he would go in first. He said pass. This was my very first round. He said pass. I said, Secon? Hatch, Digivolve, Luga, Wisdom, whatever other to pass turn. He hatched a purple egg. And I said, okay, interesting. Pagumon, I think. Can't remember exactly what it was. Or maybe it was a Demimera. I can't remember. It was a purple egg, though. He Digivolved into something. I said, okay, whatever. Some shit went back and forth. Magna Ace came down. I was like, Secon, okay. And then he Digivolved into some shit. And I was like, not Secon. What the fuck is this? And then he played a Hellscythe, and I was like, Secon? Question mark. I was like, so man, there was a Goldramon in the deck. Okay, the new BT, is it BT 14 or 15 Goldramon? I can't remember. It's the one that creates 14. The Amon and Umon token. Yeah,
that's 14.
So he had a Goldramon in there because he Digivolved into it. He had he had both the old Magna Angemon and the new Magna Angemon. Obviously he had both Degrade and Hellscythe. He had Raremon in there. So it was probably Secon, but a not so Seconish version. Because, I mean, again, ADP was clutch. I said, I'm not taking no motherfucking chances. I had the ADP in hand. I said ADP on this bitch, and now I'm swinging out. And I hit a fucking Hellscythe in security. I hit a Chaos deck in security. I was like, ADP, baby. We're never worrying about security again in this bitch. It was an interesting looking deck. I don't know what the fuck it was though. Not gonna hold you.
Sounds like some type of Setcon variant, because you said Chaos deck, Hellsite, Magna Ace.
Yeah,
that sounds
purple,
very
yellow.
Setcon-ish, yeah.
But with, you know, the spicy Goldramon and type shit. I wish I could remember what else, but that was my first match. I don't remember much else. You know, I had just woken up. So then after that, I don't recall what I played against. It was probably the Garuru Star that I won against. ADP came in clutch again, only because it was Garuru Star, but I didn't actually hit any options in security, thank God. And then I played against the Anubis that I lost to. And I played against an Apocalymon, which I won. They kept establishing like blocker retail Apocalymon. And so I said, all right, cool. Just instead of like Digivolving from Lugamon or attacking from Lugamon, I just Digivolved up into Fenry and then swung, because I was able to spill out enough bodies that Fenry is able to pop Apocalymon because he didn't have the Craniumon underneath. So I was like, all right, cool. And even if you Magnadramon, that's fine. Alliance swing for 1 check 17, 1 check 17,
right.
1 check 17, essentially. So
interesting.
I won that one. And then let's see. What else did I say I played against? Numamon. I lost to that because Numamon is stupid fast, especially with Ugomon. And then they spit out so much shit. And then that fucking Monze X over the new RB1 Monzemon. Bro, Sec plus
pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Die. I was like, please die. Please die. But the motherfucker, I think that Monze X is at 9K.
Yeah.
9K is such a weird spot because that's a lie. It's at 8K, but it definitely was not dying. It didn't hit any of my 8K bodies. And then he Digivolved into like Platinum Sukamon at one point. It still wasn't dying. I was like, son of a bitch. There's no removal in here. There's no Fenris.
Wait, you mean Platinum
Soul
Numamon
at the right time, Soul or Hell.
Platinum Numamon, you mean, not
Did
Platinum
I say Platinum
Sukamon?
Sukamon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Platinum Numamon, the level 6, yes.
Yeah.
And because he's only a 9K mega that was not motherfucking dying. Not that it mattered anyways, because he would have spit out another body. But I just couldn't effectively clear board. Now, Dexmon would have been such a godsend. Would I play Dexmon in Fenry? I don't necessarily have the deck space to want to play it. But if
that's hard.
becomes a problem, which we'll talk about later, then I'll have to play it. And then the last player I played against, which was Apocalymon, we went 2-1, or she won 2-1. She milled me first game, and then second game, or no, I don't even think she might have milled me. Honestly, she might have swung out. And the second game I won swinging past her, and then third game I just wasn't seeing it, and then she dropped double APOC. She dropped the first APOC on me, and I couldn't deal with it at all. Turn pass, it came back to me. Now it milled 10. Then I dealt with it. Then it went back to her and she dropped double APOC on me. And I was like, fuck. Because between those 3 turns, that was like a mill.
Damn.
8, 10, 18. And then
24.
16. Yeah, I got milled out.
Yeah.
34 actually, or some shit. So I was like, yeah, I can't respond to that, unfortunately. And that's where I ended, because I was like, I could try, but I don't have the capacity to do it right now. So that's where I ended my run. Would have liked to gone a little bit further. I also kind of wanted to play Beelzemon. But I've just really been enjoying Fenry. Fenry's been such a fun deck, so I'm so glad I didn't sell it back when I was trying to. But yeah, that's my Ulti Cup run. Dan, how about you? How was your Ulti Cup run?
I can't even say I had an Ulti Cup run. It was that bad.
Damn.
Like, this is probably the worst performance in a big tournament. Like, I guess Nats was pretty bad, but like it ended up like ending well, I guess you could say, because I still ended up with a 6-4 record or whatever it was. But like, This one was pretty bad. I just dropped. I went 4 rounds, went 1 and 3. Only won 1 because the dude didn't show up, and that was my 3rd round. And I was like, well, let's see if I can, do something with this win, I guess. No.
Right.
So I just hate talking about it because it's like it's the same issues I have with any other deck at the moment when I play in a tournament. I feel like I'm just having not good draws, not just breaking terrible hands, and yada yada yada.
I'm telling
round
you, it's
1
them sleeves, boy. You gotta get them double sleeves going.
Round 1. Anyways, I don't think it's gonna make a difference. For me, round 1, I played against Floodgate Rookie Rush.
That's just fucking unfortunate. That's
my
fucking unfortunate.
My man's when Uko played Gatsuma, I think it was. I was like, all right, yeah. So I kept my hands.
Doesn't do anything against you.
It does because I can't play, like, if I do the Lady Devi effect, I can't play Dark Master into the breeding.
Yeah.
And then Dark Masters and any Dark Masters and a turn effect, it stops. So
yep, you're right.
I kept a lot of hands because I was like, oh, this might be all right. And I mulliganed like most of my hands because it was just bad and it ended up going worse. Like that one, I kept both games. I lost 0-2 because I was like, oh, I got like a Gabumon and Analog Youth, so I should be fine with like Megas or whatever. I go Gabu, I go Analog Youth, milled nothing. No APOC, no nothing. I kept trying to like, get to it. Never got to it. He got to the point where he had like 3 bodies and had 2 security. And I was like, I need to kill one. So I hard dropped the Apocalymon, put him a 9. Man went, all right, cool. Hard drop, pass you back to 1. I was like, yeah, I can't do anything.
You know what you should have been playing, Dan? That old classic collection Piedmon.
I so thought of it.
Digimon.
I looked at it so hard. I was like, when will this actually come up? And now even the perfect time, or a Dexmon, but like at that point,
4 of your opponent's unsuspended level 4 or lower. Yeah.
At that point, insane. Dexmon wouldn't have done anything because I can't. Because it was every single type of. He had a Madoki, he had the Gatsu, he had a Solarmon, he had Uko plus something else. I was like, there's just nothing I could do about this. So like I was able to get rid of the Solarmon. So I was like, all right, cool. At least I could probably, get APOC going and, see what happens at that point. Never drew into the Apocalymon. So lost that one. Game 2, same thing. I thought I was close to getting to the APOC. And I go Analog Youth. Unfortunately, it was on the Analog Youth because he had a Solarmon in hand the whole time. The moment I went Analog Youth, something APOC, grabbed my first APOC, next turn passes to him, he drops the Solarmon, GG. So that's basically what happened. Round 2, I played against a Mirror. He APOC turn 2. I tried having an answer by dropping the Piedmon, killing it. He went and dropped another Apocalymon on me. This time with Cranium on, and I couldn't do anything about it. Lost. Round 2, we had a back and forth. But my APOC plays were just, again, a turn too slow because I wasn't getting anything too much. Oh no, that one. So usually Apocalymon, you want to go first. I was like, yeah, I'll go first. Mulligan the first hand. Second hand, I had Lady Devi with all megas in hand. I was like, great. Hard play Lady Devi. Watch that man just turbo the fuck out of everything because he just had everything to draw and trash. So I was like, yay, this is great. Lost to that one. Round 3 was a bye. So at that point, if I played someone, I was gonna probably lose because the way it was going. So I was gonna drop. But I ended up having the bye, so I stayed. Round 4, I played the Mirror once again. He went Apocalymon, placed old school Paimon, dropped double Psych, GG. And then round 2, game 2, I don't remember what it was at the moment. how that went. Because I was just at a point where I was just super frustrated about it, so I didn't like care. Because I just was not seeing, like, I'm watching my opponent's APOC players doing APOC play things, seeing their Gabu, Garuru X, draw, trash, and I was just like, man, I wish I could use my first egg. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was. I feel like my very first. I feel like my first version of my Pokemon deck might have actually done well because I outversed so much, and that was where like an Uko rush ish going on, where I was just turboing out Ukomons while I was also getting Gabu and draws going, and I went more for like a standard ish, and had like the Psychmons and stuff as well. The thing is, Friday when we did our TBL Friday, it felt fantastic. It was like it was hitting on everything. Like, I even beat a Numon player with it. Like, it just felt great. I was just getting everything I needed, and then tournament came around and it was just absolutely nothing. So it was poor performance by me. Couldn't really do much. Wasn't trying to continue after going 1-3 because I was just so frustrated with it and just was not working at all. So yeah, that was my supposedly Hosty Cup run.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I'm telling you, something about them sleeves. Yo, if you guys are,
I got brand new sleeves.
You gotta lay the knowledge on Dan. You gotta lay the knowledge on Dan. Tell him what he needs to do to get past his shuffling woes. Tell him he needs double sleeve. You know what? That's gonna be the poll. Should Dan double sleeve his decks? Will that improve his shuffling woes? I don't know what it is. But I'll tell y'all, I don't have no problems when I'm shuffling. Double sleeve, Daniel. All right, so that was our Ultimate Cup runs. Unfortunately, not too hot, but that's fine because it's red hybrid and we don't like red hybrid here anyways, which is the other reason that I was completely okay with saying, fuck this. I'm not doing it anymore because I could give two shits less about red hybrid. Even if I won it, I mean, yes, like, sure, I could win it and sell it, but I like money as much as the next guy, but I like keeping my cards just as much. So winning red hybrid pricing was just like, whatever. If I win it, cool, it's being sold. If I don't, also whatever. Best bet when I get that Flamemon, his ass is out of here. I don't care about that Flamemon. Now, before we jump into, because we have our main topic for today, y'all know this, it's going to be Apocalymon, it's going to be our Ultimate Cup results and whatnot and so forth. But before we jump into all that, I've got two things to talk to y'all about. So the first thing is, I guess three things. So the first thing is that by the time you're listening to this, it's going to be a Tuesday if you're listening on Spotify, or a Wednesday if you're watching this on YouTube. And that means that you will have 2 to 3 days for our 500 sub giveaway. So we started this last week. Our 500 sub giveaway, we hit 500 subs like last year. I like looked back on it. I was like, damn, I didn't even realize we were at 600. But we hit 500 subs like last year. We got in our DigiEgg sleeves for TBL. And after the great wife, helped me pack away all those sleeves into packs of 5, we were left over with 4 sleeves for each set. So I said, all right, instead of giving this to people, let's give back. Let's give it to the community for free. So what we decided is we are going to give away to 6 winners a playmat and a set of DigiEgg sleeves, but it will only be 4 DigiEgg sleeves instead of the standard 5. Now, I went back and forth. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do the giveaway. Like, I don't know, what is it going to be? Is it going to be like, comment your favorite Digimon series? What was your favorite Digimon moment? Blah, blah, blah. All of that felt so bland. And on the car ride to Connecticut, I think it was the car ride to Connecticut.
Yeah, it was.
Shout out to our boy Gino. He said, how about, custom Digimon cards? And I was like, light bulb, that sounds fucking awesome. Let's do it. So with the help of our boy Lance, I was able to devise some rules. And so we set them out. There's a whole YouTube video that y'all can go watch and find out like all the nitty gritty on that and whatnot. But the TLDR is that if you want to get entered into the giveaway for a custom, well, not custom, but one of the TBL series playmats and sleeves, you should comment on either that video, this video in the Discord with your custom card. And that's it. You're entered. That's it. Just think of a custom card and you're entered. We've gotten so many great fucking entries. It ends on this Friday, March 1st. So like once Friday passes, it's Saturday. That's it. It's over. We're going to spend the next week going through everything because there's so many cards that were submitted and some people submitted multiple cards, which is totally fine. But there are just, I've already seen some of it and there's so many cool concepts and I love what y'all are doing with it. We're going to make a whole podcast out of it. We're going to sit down and talk about like, obviously what the card does, and who won and whatnot.
Really cool.
But like, what the card does for their decks or how that might impact the meta or what the game might be like if we had this card in it. So expect that podcast to come out on March 11th. Or March 18th. I feel like it'll be March 11th, but it really depends on how long it takes us to get through all the cards because there's a lot of cards to go through. So that's really cool. Y'all have been doing a great job with that. So keep it up. It'll be over soon. It'll be over before you know it. So if you've been wanting to do it and you haven't done it yet, you should get it done. The second thing I want to talk about is that we do now have a YouTube membership. So this is for those of you who are watching on YouTube. Our YouTube membership is a very, I'd say it's a somewhat, it's not very special, but it's a somewhat special thing. For those of you who want to support us, first of all, I just want to say we appreciate all of the support that you guys give us in whatever way that you give us, whether it's your time, whether it's you playing in our tournaments, whether it's the financial support, or whether it's just you commenting on us on our videos, responding to our Q&As and our polls. We appreciate every aspect of it. The whole reason we started this podcast was because Dan and I love talking about Digimon. We love conversing with the community about it. So at the end of the day, there's nothing more than that we want than to just be able to talk about the game. And so the YouTube membership, what that does is it allows us to have a little bit of a platform where we're able to give back to the people who really enjoy our content. I really enjoy making vlogs. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to make vlogs. That shit's like, I sat down and I made our first vlog from Nats. That shit took a week and a half. And I was like, damn, I can't do this with everything else that like we're trying to be doing. So the main driving force behind the YouTube membership was, hey, I understand I can't put this out and I refuse to put out sub quality content. So if you guys want to see just some of it effectively is like a behind the scenes look. You can see all of the footage that we recorded from Nats, all of that. I just got the second vlog episode uploaded like 2 days ago. The third one will be uploaded probably next week, sometime early next week. But I'll also be recording like just general going off to locals and having the time with the boys and everybody at locals. And when we go to case tournaments and any in-person tournaments that we go to and all of that stuff, that will be uploaded to the YouTube membership as exclusive members only videos. For now, we don't plan to have any other members exclusive videos. Obviously, members will get early access to any video that we do upload. So as it is currently, there's some video I uploaded. It was like some mail day because I got a bunch of cards in and I said, it might be cool to record this. Somebody might enjoy watching this. So I'll record it. And I did that. YouTube members got to see that video today. That video premieres on Wednesday. So if you want to see those types of videos early, you most definitely can. If you don't, no biggie. You'll get to see them anyways. The other big thing that YouTube members get is they get live studio audience access to the recording of this very podcast. So you'll be able to sit in here with us. We record on Monday nights, sometimes Tuesdays. So you'll get to sit in here with us on a Monday while we record and just listen to it live. So you effectively get to hear it before anybody else does, before all of the editing and the audio work goes into it and blah, blah, blah. You get a merch discount and you get to see some of our designs before they get released to the general public and other cool perks. So it's just a cool way. We figured to help you guys out and have you guys help us out. Because again, all money that you guys give us, it goes right back into you guys. All that stuff on the wall over there, that's all like Digimon cards, you know. But if you look, you can't see it. It's like behind my desk. There's a bin on the ground that's full of playmats. There's a box with shipping boxes right next to it. There's sleeves in there. The deck boxes, I'm working on designs. They're going to print soon. There's like a lot of shit that we're working on that's just really cool. We can't wait to give that back to you guys. So every penny that you give us goes right back into DGU. So we appreciate it. The last thing is just getting to our Q&A. I just asked, what sort of topics would y'all like to hear discussed on upcoming podcast? I talk about Q&As and poll results every podcast, so I feel like I shouldn't stop, even though this question isn't really something that I should need to talk about on podcast. So I'll do it anyways. So Smitty to Pity says, more talk about meta development since ours can be vastly different because of the ban list.
That name was just funny as hell to me.
You like
Smitty to Pity.
Tournament preparation would be interesting, and or y'all's playtesting process. That's definitely something we can do. I'm thinking next week's podcast will kind of center on a topic somebody said today. I think it was Chrome said it today in Discord, talking about decks that are good for people getting into the game, intermediate decks, advanced decks, strategies and whatnot. So maybe we'll talk about all that next week. We'll see. Jean-Claude, who I believe is also Nam Chomsky, said, what is Jank? What are your pet Jank decks and why do you like them? I'll tell you right now, my Jank ass deck right now is called Marvin's
Here
Machines,
we go.
and I love that deck. It is basically fake ass Machine Dramon. It is fake ass Machine Dramon.
Sure is. It sure
but
is.
I love it. Chris said, I've seen many people misrepresenting the power level of a deck due to not understanding the rulings for cards. So what would you say is a good level of rules knowledge for an average player? I don't think we can. Let's see. Let me see if I can answer that real quick.
Can you repeat that question again?
Not everybody needs to be on a judge level. But I've seen many people misrepresenting the power level of a deck due to not understanding the rulings for the cards. So what would you say is a good level of rules knowledge for an average player? You don't need to be on a judge level. Not at all. At the bare minimum, knowledge of the what's it called? It's like the rules manual. I guess the game, the one that comes in the starter deck, the one that everybody should read through. Because it answers most questions. The problem with Digimon is that Bandai has tried for so long to not have this game be overly complicated. And every set, it gets a little bit more complicated. You have new timings. Counter timing was such a big thing. But then you have reaction timings, when would effects, are those interruptive, etc. And unfortunately, that's just things that people are gonna have problems on. But of course, we're just talking about specific card rulings. So I don't know. I don't know about rules knowledge. I would say that we talked about this, Dan. I want to say we talked about this maybe 6 to 8 months ago. And we said, at the bare minimum, if you're a competitive player, you need to know what every meta deck does, or almost every meta deck does. If your intention is to compete in a competitive environment and be competitive, you should have knowledge of what these decks do. For example, I shouldn't have to sit here and argue with but I shouldn't have to sit here trying to proc a 7th lightning. I don't know how to not give too much context here. I shouldn't have to sit here in a tournament that money was paid for, that we're playing for pricing, and you're playing a meta deck and I'm playing somewhat meta deck, It's level I'm on. So that's why I say somewhat meta. And I'm trying to resolve, I pop a level 4 and a level 6, and you're telling me I can't resolve its effect because I need to pop both a level 4 and a level 6. In what fucking world does Digimon ever let you not resolve the pop of, like, I don't know, when do they not let you resolve that effect because you can't pop one or the other? You just do as much as possible. I don't understand. Okay, Piedmon, EX1 Piedmon, Dan. Delete 4 of your opponent's unsuspended level 4 Lord Digimon. Oh, well, my opponent only has 3. Can I not delete any? No, you resolve as much as possible. If there's 3, you delete 3. If there's 5, you delete 4. If there's 4, you delete 4. It's just that simple. So why the fuck would a level 4 pop a level 4 and a level 6 not pop a level 4 if there's only one target on the field? I don't understand it. But that's just me. That's just me. If you're a competitive player and you want to play the game competitively and you want to pay to compete, you should know what the meta decks do and what you should expect to face. Just saying. As far as like a good level of rules knowledge, I don't know about rules in particular. It's kind of hard to say because rules can get really nitty gritty, and that's why we have judges. I would say the more important thing, Chris, is for players to just have the general knowledge of their deck, their cards rulings, and the meta, just general knowledge of meta and decks that they're going to face. Like if you come up against Digipolice, do you know what what's it called, Hisaryumon is going to do? I.e., if you take a swing and you don't delete that motherfucking Hisaryumon, is that motherfucker going to spit out an Oriyumon or a Brigadiermon? Because if you don't know that and you swing and it pops out and you're like, wait, what? I don't know what to tell you. That's stuff that you can easily find. Just, you watch meta guides, you watch different deck profiles, you watch tier list. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Coming soon. Definitive.
Yeah, I would say you would. I would 100% say gotta know what your own deck does, the general rules of Digimon itself, and at least the basic knowledge of what you expect from decks you're expected to play it against. So like the meta. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Jay Stort says, I think you guys do a good job on covering everything. Maybe, if anything, other Digimon related things like Seekers. Trust me, when I get caught up on, I don't know, Seekers is kind of hard because like some people haven't read it, but I guess it might be kind of fine since it's like been out for so long. So we can get there. But I will tell you guys that when Liberators comes out, Dan and I will be keeping up on Liberators.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
You can expect us to be talking about Liberators on almost a weekly fucking basis, okay? I want you guys to hear that right here and right now. I'm sorry if there will be spoilers when you guys listen to that podcast. You should know I'm not going to listen to this week's episode of DigiPod if I have not read Liberators yet, because that's a given. It's gonna happen. Walker says, y'all do a good job. I think most interesting is the meta and how it's shaking out with all the changes, but that might just be a tier list in the making. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Also, never let the Justy dream die. The Justimon cope is real. Between y'all and Adrian, Justimon cope is real.
Unnecessarily, too. Jesus.
I do feel like it's unnecessary at times, but I get it. We all have our pet decks, and Justimon is a lot of people's pet decks, just like Marvin's Machines is mine, baby. Can't wait till I get that Cyberdramon Ace. Y'all see Justimon support? I see Marvin's Machines support, baby. So now for our, what is this? I'm blanking out. Sorry. I'm still post Saturday night shenanigans. Now for our Q&A, poll results. There we go. We got it. We did the 360. For those playing the pre-March 1st restrictions, which of these decks have you played against that are most deserving of their restriction? Out of 17 votes, Dan, what do you think is the one with the most amount of votes?
Has to be APOC, right?
It is APOC. Do you want to know how many? What's your pick? Give me a percentage. Give me a percentage. What do you think?
75 to 75%.
Accurate AF. 76.5%. 13 people
that was
said,
pretty good.
Fuck Apocalymon. 3 people said fuck Anubismon, and only 1 person said fuck Metalgarurumon. That is essentially what that is. So with that in mind, we can finally start talking about Apocalymon and what everything means. I'll go first. I have sat down. So okay, in my time playing against Apocalymon, I love mill decks.
Oh, we're going to go straight into it or no?
I've played Digimon mill. We're just gonna go straight into it. Yeah, might as well. Do you want to go first?
No, go ahead. Continue.
All right, so in my time playing Apocalymon, sorry, not playing Apocalymon, playing against Apocalymon, I don't know how the fuck you fix that card, or at least that's what I thought. I was brainstorming with Dan for a little bit before we started pod, and initially I was like, there just isn't a way to fix this card. Like, the way Digimon is designed, this card is fucked, because a mill 8 is insane when you consider when you start the game, you only have a 40 card deck. When you draw, by your turn 3 or 4, you have a 35 card deck. That means you're milling 8, 10, 12 if that Apocalymon lives. That means 30 cards gets milled if you don't deal with an Apocalymon, considering your opponent doesn't drop a second one on you, which is insane. How do you fix that? I couldn't think of it initially, because milling 1 for every level 6 in source just felt too slow, especially for being a level 7. And it just, making it cost more doesn't actually solve the problem, to be honest. Okay, you got 5 memory, but what if you can't deal with it and then they drop a second one on you? It doesn't matter. So I came to the conclusion that Apocalymon, what it should have done, so here's my take on the eroded version of Apocalymon. If it's digivolving, you'll only ever really get to mill 3 cards at the end of the turn, 3 or 4 cards. Let's say 4. Let's just say 4. 4 is a fair amount.
No, it'd be 4. It's 4.
Now, if you play Apocalymon, you can still 4, okay. If you play Apocalymon, you play it the same way. It comes down for 3. That's fine. You absorb your 3 Dark Masters, different traits from trash. That's perfectly fine. What I said it should do then is, instead of milling for each source, it only mills a static 6 cards. So effectively how you would word that on the card is, if this Digimon has 3 Dark Masters, 3 differently named Dark Masters in its sources, mill 6. If it doesn't, mill 4. Never increases and it never decreases. The only way that I would let it increase is if you could only have 1 Apocalymon on board at the time. That would make it a lot more tempered, so that you can't drop double Apocalymon, but it still doesn't fix the problem that, like, okay, cool, you dealt with 1 Apocalymon, now here's a second one coming out. So in my opinion, making it mill just a static 6 means that, okay, cool, if 2 Apocalymons come down, it's still only going to mill 12, which isn't as bad as the increasing 8, 10, 12 cards that Apocalymon can mill. Still let it activate the on-play effects of Digimon. So if your opponent wants to tuck Craniumon underneath, hey, you know what? It is what it is. It's still only milling 6 cards. It doesn't feel as bad. When you think about it in this way, Creepymon on attack mills 3 for every 10 in your trash. You have to build your trash up to 10 cards for Creepymon to mill 3. To mill 6 cards, 6 measly cards, you gotta mill your trash up to 20. Or Ghoulmon on Digivolve can do the same thing, but that is there's so much work required just to get that off, right? So bless you. For Apocalymon being a level 7,
thank you.
I think it's perfectly fine if that card comes down and mills 5 or 6 cards statically, doesn't increase, but still gets to activate on plays, still gets its cost reduction, still gets, the retail blocker piercing or retail blocker, whatever the other effect is, the reboot. The amount of milling that it does, that shit needs to be cut. Because obviously, the Digimon card game is not a game necessarily made to mill your opponent out. Our decks aren't built for that. And Apocalymon as a card was not designed with that in mind. So my fixed version would be exactly that. I think that makes Apocalymon a lot more tempered. I was going to say, I was going to come to this podcast and be like, yeah, Apocalymon didn't need to be hit. That before I was going to be like, yeah, Apocalamon's fine. We can play against it. Like, I'll take that deck on every week. No problem. But playing against it, I was like, okay, now I can see why this is a problematic card. And I know people are going to come and be like, oh, well, that's what we were saying, blah, blah, blah. Listen, seeing is one thing. Playing it and getting it done to yourself, that's believing. That's an entirely different thing. And
I was about to say, seeing is believing, right?
Seeing is believing, but not just seeing it, like seeing the match. Like, I need that shit to happen to me so that I know. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. That's a thing. Like Red Hybrid, for example. You could say, damn, Red Hybrid's fast. But when Red Hybrid comes and claps your booty cheeks, that's an entirely different story. So, Apocalymon. I agree with the 76.5%. Fuck that card. Glad it's hit. It does suck though. I do wish that, they had like a promo come out or something that did allow you to still play Apocalymon or a Dark Masters deck with Apocalymon as the top end for those who wanted to play it. But it is what it is. I know we'll get it at some point. Now, Dan, I know you had an idea for an Apocalymon ace. So I'm curious to hear what kind of things you had in mind for that.
Well, let's backtrack real quick for my take now on how I feel as the person who played the deck quite frequently.
Right, yes.
I understand why I got hit. I understand why it needed to be hit. But I can see why, let's say if they didn't, because how Bandai worked. It is a deck that can be a little bricky because you're running so many high level Digimon, and it gets kind of crazy, kind of bricky at times. Your low end is really like, in this version, I should say at least, is just really Gabus, and then the Guru, the draw one, trash one. And then Guru X, draw 3, trash 2, basically. Eismon, and all that good stuff. And then outside of that, everything else is like up to your discretion. That's kind of why I like the deck, because like it's a Machinimon type of deck, where it's like your personal take on it. If you look at all the top 16 Pokemon decks, which for NA, it was 8 of them. Each one you got your standard, let's say 3 DMs for each, 4 Apocalypse, 2 to 3 Crania, a Magnadramon in there somewhere, your 4 Gabus, anywhere, depending on the number of Gabu X's and so on. But there's a lot of different techs you can choose, a lot of personal choices you can make. Some people were running Ramon, some people weren't. You can run Ukomon, you can run a lot of different cards, especially the level 6 lineup. You saw people's level 6, you got your standards, and then you have your different your text cards. Some people were running like BT13 Galamon, some people were running Metallic Dramon, some people were running cards like me, Bagramon, because it's a very good card to out things and whatnot. The Mount Craniumon, the Mount Magnadramon, even old school Magnadramon. I've seen people run them. What was it? The new Marine Angemon, I think it was. So you could do a lot of different things. Oh, old school Piedmon as well. I should mention that. That was one that came up frequently, I think. old school Paimon.
At least that one's on brand, though.
Facts. So like, if we would have had like Apocalypse for the full format, I would have been testing dumb shit like old school Dark Masters with the new school stuff, just because, you know, just to keep it on brand, you know, keep it thematic, as you would say. But it's really hard to see why it's hard to not see it get hit, because decks that are like always slower, I think Divas had no chance against it realistically. I think decks like probably Middle Flip didn't have really a good chance. Anything that was like mid range were kind of out of the game basically because of it. If you were in a deck that was just as fast or faster, you had no chance to winning. And our top 16 showed that. Because it was Apocalymon, it was Numemon, it was Red Hybrid, and it was Anubis. Not for hours. Anubis didn't make it for hours. But what was the other decks again? I'm sorry. Melga and Fenrir for us.
We had. I'm not sure what you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like super delayed right now. I see my uploading like drastically like slow down. It's making me depressed. And then you had Latin America, which had Anubis, Beals, Wargreymon, Shine. Those two are kind of surprising. Numa and Red Hybrid for Latims. So I definitely understand why they got hit. I don't know if there would have been a fix for it. I don't really think you can really like do what they did for what's it called? Oh my god, I'm forgetting right now. The Galaxy Loop.
Choice restriction? Nah.
Choice restriction. I don't think you can really choice restrict that, because it's like you're going to choice restrict everything. It's like if you play Apocalymon, you can't play any other level 6 basically. That's basically how it would be. And what's the point of the deck? The whole point is that you can absorb anything, because that's what he does. So like it feels weird in that sense. So I don't know like what you really could do to like fix the card besides limiting it. If you limit it to 1, if you see the 1 of, great. If it gets rid of, then that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? Unless you go and play like Lament of Friendship or whatever it's called.
The Lament of Friendship. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Let me finish the point. It might be a little delayed, but I'm probably gonna say what you're gonna say. Right. And then like, so I don't know. So my idea is now back to future. Talk about it now. What can they do with Dark Masters moving forward? I think Dark Masters is a perfect deck that can utilize a level 7 Ace and a Apocalymon because of their effects. They like to play each other. They like to have the low 5s play Dark Master in raising. So it sets you up for like an ace play, kind of. So I can see that happening. Now, the effect of the Apocalymon, I don't know. If we're going to stick with the mill strategy, maybe absorb certain amount of Dark Masters and mill 1 for each. So it's like tempered. It's not too crazy, but you can feel the power of Apocalymon being able to absorb stuff and gain effects. Maybe it gains all when attacking effects as well, and not just on play effect. So like you can use those effects multiple times. So if you have multiple, maybe it's like, hey, you can when attacking, let's say you have all 4 Dark Masters, you can either pop a unsuspended, bounce a low 5, Digivolve 2, or bounce bottom deck a suspended Digimon. I think that could be something that could be done. And to me, that doesn't make it like overly powerful. If you like take one or the other, you're not like maybe you take the mill out and you take that, because you don't want too many effects on it because it's gonna be too powerful. But if you get my point, what I'm saying. I think it'd be interesting if they did something like that for it. I can't hear you.
Whoops, I was muted.
There we go. I was like, oh, what's happening with me?
I was saying, it's a level 7 ace. Nah, so it's a level 7 ace, right? So it needs to be, it needs to like encroach on that echelon of being busted. Because the current level 7 aces that we've seen are all like, oh my goodness, like that's really good, but they're not busted. They're all just really good for their strat. Obviously, with the inherent negative of being overflow 5. So you've got the burst mode, the Shine Gray burst mode. That's like, oh yeah, I can be defensive with Shine, but I still get to play down my tamer and encourage my game plan. I've got Crimson mode ace. That's just better Crimson mode. I've got Paladin mode ace. That's just, well, obviously better Paladin mode, but also just insanely good and better Paladin mode. And then you've got what was the fourth one that they unveiled? I can't remember what the fourth one is, but
yeah, I'm gonna be real. I forgot what you said.
Aces are just really good cards. Oh, Apocalymon Ace is a card that is I'd be okay with being just like slightly there to being busted. Nothing to the power level of this Apocalymon, obviously, right? Like you hit it for a reason. We're not trying to get back to that level.
Right.
I agree. Maybe it's a mill 1 for every level 6 in source, or maybe it only absorbs 1 Dark Master on play, and when digivolving and it still mills the 2 and then it absorbs. I don't know. Like I think there's ways to do it. And I'm sure they've got something cooking up. You know, we still don't know what any of we still don't know what any of BT 18 through 20 is. So
I don't think we're not gonna get a new Apocalymon. Absolutely not.
You don't
not
think so?
Soon. No.
You don't think so? It's possible.
You saw how long it was to get Dark Masters.
BT13.
You saw how long it took for us to get Dark Master support and like actual Dark Master. Like it took a hot minute. If it wasn't just Machine Digimon, they were just like not effing with Pied, Puppet, or Metal Digimon at all.
I mean, they kind of were with Metal Digimon, but like it's always been like middling fish support. Middling.
No, they didn't. It wasn't even Metal Digimon.
Like
the last
couple good cards that came out for it.
The last Metal Digimon was the BT3 one, and then it was all the way until now for a new Metal Digimon. That was Mega Digimon we have. That's actually fish support.
Oh, right. Yes, Mega Digimon. Yes. Well, you know, we can hold out hope. You never know. They got LM. They got LM sets. they could get spicy and sprinkle it in. Who knows? I mean, obviously, Dark Masters will live on as a deck by way of Omni 2. That much is known at this point. The Apocalymon Dream is dead. You play your one of Apocalymon, and maybe you play your Lament of Friendship to bring it back, like you said. But that's about it. That's all we know there. But I agree with you. It's a card that the more that it gets played against you, and the more for you playing it, for me playing against it, yeah,
it's dumb as hell.
we don't need any of those shenanigans. It's so dumb when it happens to you, and then your opponent drops the second one on you, and you're like, okay, even if I can deal with these two.
The double is what hurts.
Left in deck.
Yo, do you know how many times I'll count?
I think that's like one of the biggest things. I think only one Apocalymon needs to be allowed on field.
Yo, do you know how many times when I was doing the Ulti Cup run, whatever, right? I'm like, all right, cool. I got 15 cards. I could deal with this one Pokemon. Let's see. I doubt to have 2. Man, when Apocalypse tuck two game because that's 16 cards milled right there. Because unfortunately, sometimes you have to just pass 3 and like be at the 3 mark. And you're just like, all right, if they have it, they have it. And if they do, the moment they show it is like, all right, just immediately scoop up. That's the one thing I noticed about like playing it is like, when you know you're playing against a Apocalymon, it's like, how many cards do you have in your deck? And if your opponent shows the Apoc, is like, all right, go to game 2. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of quick. So that's kind of good,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, it just sucks because you know you're losing because you can't do anything. Especially if you like, let's say they get you to like, let's say you only have like 2-3 cards left, or like, you know, a max like not if you have 10 cards, and they get you to the 10 cards, they put that cranium underneath, and you know you have no options to deal with it. And you know you're just effed because it just sticks there because you can't do anything about it.
Exactly. Especially if you're a deck that doesn't run hard option removal, which is why I stand by every one of my decks has to have hard option removal. Because God forbid I come up against that one thing that I'm like, God damn it, I wish I had that hard option removal. It happened with Fenrir. That's why I run removal in Fenrir now. And it's most certainly going to be a thing in every deck that I play. So sorry about that, guys. Dan was having some delay issues, and we couldn't actually like hold a conversation because like he was like 3 to 5 seconds behind when I would say something. I had to have him disconnect and come back, and hopefully it's better now. We can actually host the conversation. We probably should have done that shit earlier.
Yeah,
kind of scuffed. That
we was trying to trudge through it, and we just couldn't trudge through it anymore.
You can't trudge through technology. We should know better.
Yeah, right. As technology people.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It seems to be better now. So where we had left off, we basically were capping up on Apocalymon and saying that Apocalamon's busted AF. The card legitimately is busted. And not that it couldn't compete, but it most definitely would have pushed a lot of decks out of contention and only leave a handful of decks able to trade blows. And the Ultimate Cups were very indicative of that. You know, the Latin America Ultimate Cup, they had, what is this? This looks like,
I'm guessing 6 tops.
6 tops. It looks like it's like 40% of the tops. For Apocalymon, Anubismon had a quarter of the tops. And then Bielsa X had 2 tops. Not surprising to me personally. And then 1 top each for Numa, Shine, Wargrey, which is hella weird to be honest. And Shine Gray. And then our Ultimate Cup, half of the tops were Apocalymon.
So 8 out of the top 16. Yep.
No tops for Anubismon at all. None.
Surprising.
Not a single one.
Very surprisingly.
Very surprising. 3 tops for Numamon. Also surprising. 2 tops for Melga, 2 tops for Red Hybrid, and 1 top for Lugamon.
Not surprising about the Numamon.
You don't think it's surprising about Numamon?
No, because it won JP Nats, and then it had that the dude with the Ulti Cup run, or the JP Ulti Cup run, where he went through 8 Apocalymons and won that tournament.
That was BT16 though, wasn't it?
No, that was 15. That was 15. They didn't have the Valkyrie stuff. The Nats, their Nats was BT16. But that game, that tournament where we're like, Numamon won. That was BT15. Yeah. That was a BT15 big tournament thing.
I didn't realize that was a BT15 tournament because I knew that, you know, so I guess everybody's expectation, like, let's talk about Numamon. Everybody's expectation was that Numamon Numamon didn't have the tools it needed to be a good deck until next format. Because like you said, Valkyremon, you get access to...
no, I wouldn't say that.
That was the sentiment that I've heard going around. No, but I think anybody really expected, from what I was hearing like content creators say, nobody expected Numamon to be that good.
Here's the problem, right? Numamon has never been a good deck until now. That's why people don't talk about it. right? It's the same issue with the Sukumon thing. Like nobody says that's a good deck because it's been trashed for so long. And EX5 made it a good deck, and BT14 made it. That was BT14 support, right? It had the Edamon, because the yellow Edamon was BT14.
Yeah, BT14.
So 14 and EX5. Until those sets come out, like nobody ever said that was a good deck. Now it's considered a good deck. Is it tier 1? No. Is it 1.5? No. But is it playable? Is something that you can potentially see in a top one here and there? Yeah. I think that's the same issue with Numemon, because Numemon has no rookies, technically. And the crazy thing, yeah, I say technically because Ukumon is their rookie, and then you just play whatever.
They don't have a canonical rookie.
Exactly, right. But here's the thing is, they're all 3-cost drops. They just got BT15, their best support, and the Numa X, plus Monze X. So you have the RBO1 stuff with the Numemon plus the RBO1 Monzemon, which were all really good cards. Then you go to BT14. What we get in BT14? We get the Digipolice Numemon that lets you get Rush with the Satsuki, right? Plus, I think it was Satsuki's Jamming and Reboot, I want to say.
Jamming and Reboot.
Right. So now when you combine this all with this stuff, right? Then 14 also, I think, was Platinum Numemon. Platinum Numemon is a very good level 6. Stat-wise, it looks terrible. But what it can do for the deck, being able to just keep playing, is why the deck is really good in BT15, and is why it's very good against the Apocalymon matchup, because you can just spit out one or two Numemon. You have Ukos in the back. You just keep digivolving, and then you're gonna play potentially Floodgates, and you just keep them on board. You keep those on board while you do everything over here with the hard drops. Hard drops are 3-cost. You're going to Evo for free to Numa X. You're going to Evo 2 to 3 for Monzemon, whatever it is. A free Evo Monze X. You're going to go into Platinum Numemon. And guess what? When all their on deletions stack up, you're playing free Digimon the whole time, which includes potentially free Numemon Rush, which includes other things that's like, drawing, trashing. And then you can do whatever you want at the top end from black and yellow. So you go Venusmon, you go Platinum Numemon, obviously. If you really want to, you can play Shin Monzemon. I know a lot of people aren't too fond of Shin Monzemon in the deck.
It's kind of a trash level 6, to be honest.
It does cool things, I think.
It does
cool
things, yes, but it's mid.
But you can also run Dex as your 7. You can run Rumor Mode as your 7. So right now, it's a really good deck. And the way Apocalymon runs, I'm not too surprised by it.
All right, so here's the counterpoint, right? I don't disagree with anything that you're saying, but I don't think that I don't think it's because Numemon was a trash deck that nobody expected it to be good, because we expected it to be good next format. I think the bigger thing to consider is that in the time that, I don't remember when BT15 or 16 dropped for Japan.
I don't know.
Actually, I do remember 16. 16 dropped in Japan in December. And I think that's the important thing to consider. The movie, the O2 movie came out, I believe it was November, right?
November for us. It came out, I want to say October for them, maybe.
So that means I don't recall if Ukomon promos were distributed for their movies like it was for us, or if it was distributed some other way. But for us, we got access to Ukomon essentially from BT14. They got access to Ukomon, let's say from BT15. But it really rose to prominence in BT16. And so it really was more towards the tail end of their BT15 format that they got a hold of Ukomon. So maybe they didn't have as much time playing around with Numemon to then go into BT16 when you get the new Ukomon and obviously the Valkyriemon and the other toys that Numemon has access to because of its colors. And that's why I think everybody expected it to be, well, not expected, everybody knew that it was going to be a good deck in BT16 because of what you can play, but nobody expected it for BT15 because they didn't realize that, like, this Numemon still does stupid things in I mean, if it can do what it does for Red Hybrid and elevate, Red Hybrid was already a good deck. It just made it even faster.
Oh,
like
you say what Uko does for a Red Hybrid. Gotcha.
Yeah, right. So like if Red Hybrid, if Red Hybrid was going like 70 miles an hour and, it's got that speed limiter on, Ukomon says, bitch, 100 miles an hour, speed limiter off.
Pedal to the metal, baby.
pedal to the metal. And so for Numamon, yeah, without Ukomon, you'd probably still, I don't think, I'd like to say it wouldn't top. I can't say that. I honestly can't say that with like a certainty. That's just my educated guess. I don't think it's fast enough without Ukomon though. I think because of Ukomon, like you said, that memory gain, being able to hatch. I mean, I'm looking at first place list. He played 4 Chikurimon, 2 Chumon, and then, 4, let me rephrase. 4 the security Digivolve Chikurimon.
Yeah.
And
Spicy.
4 of the play cost reducing Chikurimon. 2
Makes sense.
of the Chumon. I think because of Ukomon, like that's why he can do that. If he didn't have Ukomon, you won't be able to do that because with Ukomon, yeah, you raise, you get to hatch, but you get that extra memory. And sometimes that's the difference between your opponent setting you to like 2. A lot of times it happens. Now you get put to 3, and like you said, you drop those Numamons for 3. You get the X Digivolve for free. Then you could drop another Numamon, or you Digivolve into a level 5 for 3. Like Ukomon accelerates that deck so much. I think without Ukomon, that deck isn't what I'm going to say is tier 1. I think Numamon's a tier 1 deck. It's a format earlier than I personally expected it to be. I only thought about it in the light of BT15 because what I thought was that the new Ukomon, the searching one, and the Valkyriemon and the ability to play Rapid X and all those cards is what made Numamon busted. But it's not. It's the promo Ukomon. And that's kind of the common denominator between all of the Numamon lists. It's
obvious. It's obvious the Uko plays that. I won't say that. I won't say that because the engine itself is what facilitates the crazy plays because of what you can do with it. Uko just gives it the little like boost it needs with the memory gain early, but remember they didn't need the rookies either, so like you just able to fit it in and it works kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You're gonna hard play most of your new mods regardless of your rookie situation. So that's why I'm not 100% sure. I would have liked to see how it was pre would have had to see how it was pre-Uko. I don't know if there was a pre-Uko Numon. I just feel like because the way JP mindset is, which is like you just take the best deck and you don't care about anything else type of thing. That's how I feel they take. I feel like they see where the number 1 deck, Apocalymon and Anubis, and they just run with those decks. And that's it. Like I don't think they really try to think outside the box things. But again, I could be wrong on that situation. I don't know. But that's how I always feel like they do, because it's like best of 1, right? Why wouldn't you? So I don't know. We're not in a world.
That list handy. From,
we're not in a world.
Nationals.
No, the Nationals, it was BT16. It's the list that we needed to see because I don't remember. No, but I'm pretty sure they had Uko, the one that went through 8.
They never said it. They never said the deck list.
Yeah,
they only said it went through 8 Uko.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the Uko was in it. But like, I would like to see like, can Numon deal with Apocalymon without it? Which I think is possible, just because the way the Apocalymon works. You kind of benefit off of those mills, because like if you have some of the stuff in trash, you can play it out and then you can recur from the trash as well. So it kind of benefits you. And like again, you're just spitting out bodies a lot, and Apocalymon, base Apocalymon, unless you're gonna run like decks and stuff like that, they can't really deal with it as well, too well, I should say. Like Metal Siegemon can a little if you play it, and then you also when attacking, if you're able to double that up a bit, but like it's hard. And they all have on deletion effects. So like you Piedmon it, oh great, I'm gonna gain more memory, and then pop out another Platinum Numon or something. You know what I'm saying? Like They just
Right.
kind of like they're sticky. They're like no pun intended on what Numemon is. Like the
they're
deck
not
is sticky.
They're slimy.
Yeah, they're sticky, slimy deck. It just doesn't go away. Basically, you know what I'm saying? They just come in hordes. Basically, right? Like that's how it is.
Yes, that's
so
true.
like. I just think the Uko just facilitates it. It's not the reason why the deck is good. It's what gives it the extra boost it needed, in my opinion, for it. So that's why I think it's good. So now on to, I guess, when we're talking about Numemon. Oh, I was gonna say post.
I think that's a good Q&A question for this week's podcast. So for those of you listening, it'll be posted up. In YouTube, it'll be in the comments, etc. But what are your thoughts on Numemon as a deck? You know, this is something that's kind of new because again, nobody was kind of expecting Numemon until BT16. So to a lot of people, it feels like Numemon arrived the format early, and it really is just straight Numemon. Lance said it's glorified Rookie Rush, and that's effectively what it is. It's glorified.
If you kind of think about it, because Rush. it's all play cost 3 stuff. So you could kind of say that because that's what Rookie Rush was back in the day. 2 cost, 3 cost drop.
Yeah,
and then call it a day
and spam out. Yeah. So I'm curious to know, like, what is the audience opinion on Numemon as a deck? You know, what do you think of Ukomon? Is that the key factor that takes this deck to the next level? Does this deck survive without Ukomon? I just want to hear your general thoughts on it. But go ahead, Dan. What was the next thing you wanted to talk about?
No, I was gonna say you mentioned you had a bold claim. It's a tier 1 deck.
I feel like that's a given.
Do we think it will be a tier 1 deck while Apocalymon being the menace, being the main dog per se? That's the question now.
Right.
When we don't know what's going to be. Other decks that got slowed down, Pokemon is not going to be slowed down anymore.
So that's what that's a good point. Pre-Apocalymon, I think the fact that it has 4 cumulative tops and that it won, let's put it this way. It went 9-0. This motherfucker won a minimum of 18 games and a maximum of 27. Yeah. That's a lot of fucking games to win with Numemon, and he did it. And then there was also 2 other tops in NA, and then the 1 top in, was it 1? Yeah, 1 top in Latin America. To me, that at least says that the deck is tier 1.5. But like, obviously, we'd need more tournament data for me to make a more bold claim of saying like, yes, this is a bona fide tier 1.1 deck. Now, with that in mind, on what you're saying, do I think that this deck is tier 1 post-hit? I'll be real, no. I think it's still a very good deck. I would only say tier 1.5 though, and this is why. Because this deck, for what it does, will get absolutely bodied by some of the decks that Apocalymon pushed out. One of the decks that immediately comes to mind for me is DigiPolice. And I say DigiPolice because I'm talking about both D-Boys DigiPolice as well as what's it called?
The Shulin version.
Yeah, the Shulin Oriyumon version. Because blockers. Sure, you have Dexmon. You play Chikurimon, so you have to be smart about like your Chikurimon plays. You can't lock out your own Dexmon. The first place list does play.
I would say this. If you know there's no Apocalymon anymore, why would you play that anymore?
Numemon?
Yeah, you just switch it out with a different generic black rookie.
Oh, you're talking about the Chikurimon, right.
Yeah,
no, I don't disagree. I agree with that 100%. I'm just going based off of like what the current
I got you.
So let's say they do swap it out, and one list here plays a Dexmon, one list here plays a Merciful. They won't play the Merciful then. They do play Ruin Mode, and they'll probably continue to play Ruin Mode, and this one plays Ruin Mode. I think DigiPolice is like a very strong contender because the only hard removal here is Heaven's Judgment, which not even all the lists play. First place list doesn't play it. It's a straight aggro deck. And the 10th place list doesn't play it. They play the Ruin Mode though. The 5th place list does play 2 Heaven's Judgment. So this means it hits for a minimum of,
I think it's 18.
12. It depends.
Oh, if you have white, right? If you have the white, so white, yellow, black,
If you have Uko, so if you have white, yellow, black, it's going to hit for 24. If you're missing 1 color, you hit for 18. 2 colors, you hit for 12. Now you can knock out a Brigadramon for sure, and that can definitely help, but you are going to pass turn in doing that. And I will say that D-Boys is a little bit of a resilient deck. Venusmon does help, locking off, the when Digivolving, but you don't stop the end of turn. So there's not really any when attackings that you care for outside of putting cards back to your deck. So the only thing you turn off is calling in support, really. Doesn't really matter though. Like, I just feel like DigiPolice is a very well-positioned deck to take on Numamon. Because that's why I say both versions of it can take on Numamon. Fenry has a tough time still because it's still an aggro deck. You can be faster than Fenry. What other decks do we have?
I think a deck that's gonna come back is it's gonna be hard, but I think it's possible because there's no Anubis, no Apocalymon, and Melga slow down. A Greymon deck is definitely Greymon something that can come back, and I think that could just F up Numamon at times.
And you want another one? Machinedramon.
That was my next one.
Machinedramon not only got support, but it has the perfect card.
If you're Numamon,
deck out.
What do you do with a giant stack with maybe 2 analog mans on board? You don't do anything unless you just keep swinging out, and then you
forget about the analog mans. All you need is a Megadramon in stack, the BT9 Megadramon, and a Metal Mamemon. And
you just keep popping. Like I said, because they have all on deletion effects, they can't just recur and bring and put bodies back on board. But so they can't do that. But how much resource are you gonna have if that keeps happening? Though?
So that's a very good point, because we saw that in the TBL. Oh shit, we didn't talk about TBL.
Yeah, because we went to the Q&A.
TBL, TLDR. Damn, I can't do that. I can't do that to my boy. All right. It's very late in podcast, so those of you who are still listening, we appreciate you. Let's talk about TBL real quick, because I can't fucking believe I forgot about that. TBL week 10 happened this past week, in which we saw Alan, my boy Alan. He's out. He's maybe about an hour. I'll say like an hour 20 max away from me over in PA. Take the tournament with Melga. He would have played against Dan in the finals, but as you can see, Dan was having internet issues all the way from then. So unfortunately, Dan conceded to him in the finals. So Alan did take that finals with Melga. So he was first. Dan was second with Apoc. Third was Adachi with Machinedramon. And fourth was Law X, who was playing Numamon.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the original foreshadowing of Numamon. And in the TBL, we did see what it was TBL, right? Where we saw like the Numamon hand dump. Yes, because it was against Gamamon.
Yeah, it was against me. It was against me also.
Oh, was it against you as well?
Yeah.
We saw the Numamon essentially like flood board, and we're like, fuck. Especially against Gamamon, because for me I was more about Gamamon dealing with it than Apoc. Because I was like, what the fuck does Gamamon do? Gamamon can't pop all of those. There was like 6 bodies to pop, and Gamamon somehow took out every single body, and then all Law could do was just pass, because he basically exhausted all hand resources. Because while Numa X can play from the trash, everything else plays from hand. Numamon plays from hand. The Monze X plays from hand. Numamon X is the only thing that's playing from trash. So it's like, at a certain point, you just run out of resources. So if you hand dump like that, or your board gets cleared enough and you're just exhausting your hand, what are you gonna do when you run out of resources? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, that's agreed to on that statement for sure. As it gets to the point where you just might not have enough resources in hand to continue to facilitate your plays.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So I agree. I think that's like the biggest takeaway. An aggro deck like this definitely does well against Apoc for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's aggro. Number 2, you take advantage of the trash. The same thing that Red Hybrid is capable of doing. Without Apoc, now you get to have defensive decks come back into the meta. So yeah, you'll get your Greymon decks in all your variations. You'll definitely get your Machine Dramons. You're gonna get your Digipolice decks. And then I don't know, I can't think of other decks.
I think Mirage would kind of mess it up at times as well, because you just bounce things, which means you're losing the on deletion effects.
Yep, you can't keep a damn thing on board, and they've got a lot of shit that bounces level 4s and lowers. Because if this deck comes into the limelight, you just bump up your ratio on that Galgamon. I think that Galgamon has either a when Digivolve or a when attacking to bounce a level 4.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's on a level, maybe that's the Mock Galgamon. I can't remember.
I don't remember, but yeah. Also
bounce on the Mirage. That's like, yeah, it's just like you can clear board real easy with Mirage.
For sure.
And gain memory for doing so, which is insane. So Mirage is another deck that benefits from that. You know, Shine is another deck because Shine can just DP neg everything away. And
yeah, actually, yeah, just imagine, because they're all like super low DP unless you're Monzimon. But let's say you get like the full max neg 10k, I think you have to activate the effects to like drop them. So on deletion, you just keep forcing to drop, and they just die out, or you just can't do anything.
I mean, you like you said, 2-3. I think the biggest like champion here out of a champion and rookies,
it's like 3k.
That's the Chikurimon, that's 3k. So Shine is popping them with one inheritable each. Like your Egg can pop a Numamon.
100%.
Your Agumon can pop
neg 2 or 3 X. Or pop a 3k.
Exactly. And then because you expect to play against Numamon, ruin mode. You just swap your ratios. If you expect to play against Numamon that much, 2 ruin mode, 1 burst mode. And then you say you don't get to play the game. Like that's just what you do, right?
For sure.
I think Numamon's still a very good deck.
But I just don't know. I can't say it's gonna be a tier 1 for sure. We'll know, tournament results if it's still winning or not. Mm-hmm. But I think we're just gonna be in such a wide open landscape that we have no idea what's gonna happen. So I can't confirm or deny anything with it. So I'm gonna
confirm nor deny that.
Like your facts, right? Like so I will throw in, for me personally, I don't know what the tier 1 decks necessarily are gonna be, but I for sure feel like it could be in that 1.5 range.
But you will hear about it on our definitive BT15 Exceed Apocalypse meta tier.
That's when we will look at things and put math together.
Definitive, all right? Definitive. Because our word is the golden word. Listen, if Mario can come out here and say shit like, I am the Market Watch guy, and I am the this, and I do that, we can say we're the definitive tier list and get away with it, okay? You don't have to come at us. Let us have our small little win, okay?
We have the Eggman, who's the results guy. You got Mario, who's the Market Watch guy. We're just the tier list guys. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Yo, if y'all look back during that time frame, it was a BT13 list when we did that one. We didn't make a BT14 tier list. I don't think. I don't know why. Anyways,
because nobody liked our BT13 definitive.
I mean, those views says we did.
Yeah, right.
If y'all look back, if you check that video out and you compare it to what was the results of that format, we were probably about like 95% correct.
Minimum 90%. Absolute minimum. But yeah, I agree. It's somewhere like 95%. We overshot, I want to say 2 decks, and we undershot 2 decks. That's probably about it. And they were off by like a tier each. That's about it. So yeah, I think we were pretty good. I think, it's definitely going to be interesting doing this one more so than that one. Because for BT15, like you said, it's going to be
0 results.
And it's going to be so exciting because really, like, it's straight speculation. And I'm just going to say it. Tier lists are not the golden word, right, guys? Like, tier lists are never something that you should take and be like, well, DigiGuard said that this deck is tier 1. Why? Blah, blah, blah. Well, no. DigiGuard thinks that it's going to be tier 1. That's their opinion. you can formulate your own opinion just as we all have our own opinions. It's just that we're content creators. We're trying to get you to watch our content. So we're going to call it the definitive tier list, and we're going to say some controversial shit to stir up some shit and make you see like, oh yeah, fuck those guys. They don't know what they're talking about. Or, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, they make a good point, or some shit like that, right? So this tier list is going to like really push that in, because we straight up have no results. Like Dan said, there's nothing. It's wide open.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It's a free meta. It is literally play. If there was a time to play what you want, it is fucking now. It is now. Play what you want, because
just like these fancy mega commentary mods I got in the mail.
Hey, you could play a bug deck right now if you want to. Maybe it can do something. Who knows? Maybe Hercules Kabuterimon that can't be affected by opponent's Digimon effects can fucking do something until it gets blown up by an option card. But who knows? You'll never know unless you try.
Exactly. Right? Exactly.
But then you just play Shivamon. Call it a day.
Yeah. You play just hard play.
Play Tyrant before you play Tyrant.
Yeah, we just you just go to the Hercules Kabuterimon and then just hard drop the Shiva and be like, deal with it.
You can't hard drop the Shiva because you got to suspend it. So like,
oh damn it, never mind.
you got to build up 2 stacks, But the ace helps with that, because if you can somehow hard drop your ace and suspend it and then digivolve your Shiva, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm giving y'all ideas.
Combos.
This is going to be on the BT15 definitive meta tier list for Exceed Apocalypse. Just keep your eye out for it. It's coming out sometime this week or early next week.
Something like that.
Can't say when. But no, Numamon, great deck. I did not expect it this early, and it's going to still be a good deck, but I for sure can't say where yet. My early prediction is at minimum, or is at most tier 1.5. I just don't feel like it can be a tier 1 deck with every other deck that now gets pushed back up due to Apocalymon not being in the format. Because during BT14, we saw Deep Release tops. We saw Melga tops to an extent. We saw just a bunch of other decks. Like, we saw so much things. And so without Apocalymon, without having to worry about your shit being in your trash, now you can play the game again.
I know we're saying just Apocalypse, but it's Apocalypse.
Yes.
And correct. Anubis.
Yes, it's actually really important to say, because I do forget about that. For me, Apocalymon is the one that rings in my mind, because the one thing that pushes, I wanted to play Brigade D-Boys. While it would benefit, the one thing that pushes it down is having all my shit end up in trash. But Anubismon is also equally a problem, because when Anubismon spits out its double bodies, you're popping 2 things. Or if they spit out a 5-cost X-Mon, which is very easy, that could really fuck up your day as D-Boys. So, or they could just go into ruin mode and also call it a day there. So like, all of that is just like really rough. Anubismon being hit is good. I played Anubis. So Dan played Apoc, I played Anubis. Dan saying Apoc's hit is good. I am most definitely saying Anubis's hit is good. I played against Lance at the Case tournament. We were playing a post-restriction ban list. This motherfucker hit me with the 1 of Anubismon. I was like, this is fucking annoying. This is fucking annoying.
You're so sick about it.
I was like, I have to deal with this dumb bitch.
Yeah,
because if I know it snowballs next turn, but dealing with it means that I can't do any setup. Because like dealing with it, he had put me at maybe like 3 memory or something. So like, I couldn't play anything. Like I couldn't play a blocker. Obviously, would have gotten popped. My blocker is my search. I can play a wisdom, but then playing my removal, which is either my Halugar or my rivals, means putting him to 6, and I'd rather put him to 4 than put him to 6. So I'm like, fuck, like I have to literally deal with it by fucking dropping this thing and dealing with it. I hate that. So like, it did make me sick. It made me very sick, and I'm very glad that Anubismon is hit, because as much as I did enjoy playing that deck, I hate playing against fucking Anubismon all day in tournament. That shit is so annoying.
Yeah, I'm also glad to see, Guru X, Gabu X being hit. Those are cards that made a lot of decks that shouldn't be a thing exist. Like Apocalymon shouldn't have been running oops, oh Gabu, oops Guru, dot deck. You know what I'm saying?
Right? We're half of your deck, bro. The one player I was playing against, she was literally it would have been a fucking Garurumon deck because she was literally running the level 5, the Rare Garurumon.
Yeah, I was seeing people doing that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Why not? You still get to trash a card, so it fills your trash while you get to be aggro and still save yourself from dying because of your what? No, I agree.
I seen that. Yeah, for sure. I seen that. I also seen people run Melga Ace on it as well. You just climb with the whole line, call it a day, right? You want stuff in your trash.
At that point, when are you playing Melga?
Right. And then at that point, you just go Melga, you trash everything. It's like, all right, I'll drop the Apoc now. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah, me. You know what I'm saying? Just decks that didn't blue decks were using the Guru engine and stuff. It was just Ulforce is one of those people. So it's good to see that hit. So we won't see that as frequently. Outside of probably just Garurumon. It'll probably just be Garurumon that's running the one of each, and that's it. And then Bukamon as well. So now we don't have free jamming for anything that's blue as well. So
oh my fucking goodness, that was the.
I know we got free jamming as a rookie, but at least they don't have rookie inheritables plus jamming.
I seen people complain about that, getting rookie jamming inheritables. Nothing is more infuriating than your opponent swinging at your stack and they hit some 10k body and you're like, oh, it dies, and they're like, no, I got Bukamon, and you're like,
right,
oh,
as a rookie,
I've got no
as a
Digimon.
Rookie,
fuck,
as a rookie,
so
it's
fuck
so dumb.
You, fucking bitch ass Bukamon, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. I like I said now, because those decks would probably have to run Betamon instead. Maybe not Melga. Melga probably just stick with its own thing. Melga's
just gonna do its own thing.
But decks like Mirage, they probably just throw in the 4 Betamon and then call it a day. But that makes it, they don't have a rookie inheritable that may or may not matter. I don't know.
Yep. Mirage with jamming was unfucking necessary. Because Mirage is already a pain in the ass to deal with.
It's still gonna have jam regardless. Sorry. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
Mirage with the fucking jamming egg was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now they have to pull into the rookie. And I'm fine with you pulling into your jamming rookie. Just like I'm fine with, some decks finding their one-ofs. Not Melga constantly finding their
promo Werguru. That always happens to
not
never
that.
Die, swing, unsuspend, swing.
That's why you don't have jamming on that bitch. That was so. It's a 6k fucking ultimate. Why does it have jamming?
Yeah, and also protection.
That shit aggravated me, bro.
Easy access protection, just bottom deck 2 cards and call it a day. Is yeah. But hey, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
I am so glad. I don't think a restriction list has ever made me happier as a competitive player. All the other hits were kind of okay, yeah, cool, whatever. I don't have to play against those decks. All right, yeah, it is what it is. This restriction list, having played against the decks, having really played against the decks pre-list and now going to be post-list, this is a good list. I appreciate this list. Thank you, Bandai. I know you took a hit on BT17. It's unfortunate. I'll still keep buying your product.
15 you mean?
Sorry. Yes, BT15. Don't worry. I'll still keep buying your product. I'm a whore for your game. You can count on that. Oh man. So just some parting words before we leave out here. So I would just want to take this time to apologize for the quality of the podcast. No intentions of trying to, have a scuffed, delayed podcast, but it is what it is. Your boys do their thing and we realized it a little bit too late, but the second half of the podcast was good. So thank you guys for sticking it through. I'll make sure I'll add a note at the beginning of the podcast so that y'all will know what is coming. With that in mind, Dan, any parting words?
Apoc did nothing wrong.
Oh, we did not. Yo, fuck Apoc. Fucking doofus. Fuck Bukamon. Fuck Gabu-X. And fuck Guru. Honestly, yes. Fuck Gabu-X now. Originally, I was like, why hit Gabu-X? I'm fine with Gabu-X.
No, you're not.
Hit Guru-X. Now, no. Fuck Gabu-X too, all right? fuck that card too. I'm glad that they hit both of them.
Real parting words. Real parting words. We're about to go into let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? We're gonna get to new territory
the wild west.
The wild west of this new format coming up. Try whatever you want that you think might be good, and see what happens, because we just don't know.
It's a sneak preview as to what's coming come global unification, because that's just about a year away now, an actual year, because I think they're targeting like February or March, or that's set to release that unifies us. So this is what's coming. You look forward to that. Me, myself, I most definitely am looking forward to it. That is it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. So until we talk to you guys next time, peace out.
Catch you all on the next one.